What if I told you that adding just 0.3% of a single element to iron could make it 10 times stronger, rust-proof, or even magnetic? Welcome back to Channel Name, the channel where materials science meets real-world engineering. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most important concepts in metallurgy, the effect of alloying elements on metal properties. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how engineers cook metals to get the exact properties they need, whether it's for a jet engine, a skyscraper, a surgical implant, or your kitchen knife. Let's get started. Before we talk about what alloying elements do, let's make sure we're on the same page about what an alloy actually is. A pure metal, like pure iron, pure copper, or pure aluminum,
carbon
has
atoms
specific
flipping
properties.
into the gaps form an
But pure metals
interstitial
are
alloy.
often too soft, too brittle, or too reactive to be useful in engineering applications. So what do? We mix them. An alloy is a mixture of two or more elements, where at least one is a metal. The main metal is called the base metal or matrix, and the elements added to it are called alloying elements. These additions can be other metals, or sometimes non-metals like carbon, nitrogen, or silicon. There are two types of solid solutions in alloys. In a substitutional alloy, the alloying atoms replace base metal atoms in the crystal lattice, like chromium replacing iron in stainless steel. In an interstitial alloy, the smaller alloying atoms fit into the gaps between the larger base metal atoms. Carbon in iron is the classic example, giving us steel. Both types change the crystal structure and therefore change the metal's behavior completely. Let's start with the most obvious question engineers ask: how do we make metals stronger and harder? The answer almost always involves alloying. When foreign atoms enter the lattice, they create local distortions. Mismatches in atomic size create stress fields. These stress fields act like roadblocks to dislocations, the line defects that cause plastic deformation. This is called solid solution strengthening. Carbon is the king of strengthening in iron. Even tiny amounts, 0.2% to 1.5%, can multiply iron strength dramatically. Higher carbon equals harder but more brittle steel. This is why a sword blade needs a sweet spot, hard enough to hold an edge but not so brittle it shatters. Manganese, Mn, is another powerful strengthener. It also acts as a deoxidizer and counteracts the brittleness caused by sulfur. Silicon, C, dissolves in ferrite and increases strength and hardness. Nickel, Ni, strengthens without causing brittleness, making it ideal for low-temperature applications. Molybdenum, Mo, and tungsten, W, being heavy atoms, cause huge lattice distortions and are excellent strengtheners at high temperatures. Hardness, the resistance to surface indentation, follows similar rules. The Rockwell and Vickers hardness tests show that adding carbon to iron dramatically increases hardness. This is why tool steels with 0.6-1.5% carbon can scratch glass and cut other metals. However, there's always a trade-off. More hardness often means less toughness. We'll revisit this balance throughout the video. Toughness is the ability to absorb energy before fracture. It's the combination of strength and ductility. Ductility is the ability to deform plastically without breaking. These are often in a tug of war with hardness and strength. Nickel, Ni, is the star here. Adding 1-3% nickel to steel dramatically improves toughness, especially at sub-zero temperatures. This is why nickel steels are used in cryogenic tanks and Arctic pipelines. Nickel expands the austenite phase field, allowing more stable face-centered cubic (FCC) structure, which has more slip systems and thus more ductility. Manganese also improves ductility when balanced properly. Copper additions improve ductility in some aluminum alloys. Phosphorus and sulfur, on the other hand, are enemies of ductility. Phosphorus causes cold shortness, brittleness at low temperatures, and sulfur forms iron sulfide at grain boundaries, causing hot shortness. This is why steel producers fight hard to remove these elements. Now let's talk about rust, every engineer's nightmare. Corrosion costs the global economy over $2.5 trillion. The right alloying elements can make the difference between a bridge that lasts 100 years and one that crumbles in 20. Chromium, Cr, is the undisputed champion of corrosion resistance. When you add at least 10.5% chromium to iron, something magical happens. The chromium atoms on the surface react with oxygen to form a thin, invisible, self-healing layer of chromium oxide, Cr2O3. This passive layer is essentially an impenetrable shield against further oxidation. This is how we get stainless steel, and it's why your kitchen utensils don't rust. Nickel, Ni, enhances this passive layer and provides corrosion resistance in acidic environments. Molybdenum, Mo, is added in grades like 316 stainless steel to prevent pitting corrosion in chloride environments, like seawater. Copper, Cu, in small amounts, 0.2%, gives weathering steel its unique ability to form a stable, protective rust layer, used in sculptures and architectural structures. Aluminum, Al, naturally forms Al2O3 on its surface, alloying with small amounts of copper or silicon maintains strength while keeping this protection. Silicon and aluminum, when added to steel, promote the formation of stable oxide layers at high temperatures. This is called oxidation resistance, slightly different from corrosion resistance but equally important in furnaces, turbines, and exhaust systems. Hardenability, don't confuse this with hardness. Hardness is how hard a material is. Hardenability is how deeply a steel can be hardened through heat treatment. This is crucial for large components like shafts and gears. You want hardness throughout the section, not just on the surface. When steel is quenched, rapidly cooled, carbon atoms get trapped in a distorted body-centered tetragonal structure called martensite, the hardest phase in steel. But this transformation needs to happen fast enough to beat the formation of softer phases like perlite. Alloying elements slow down the transformation of austenite to perlite, giving the steel more time to transform to martensite even at slower cooling rates. Chromium, molybdenum, manganese, nickel, and boron all dramatically improve hardenability. Boron is extraordinary, even 0.003% of boron can double the hardenability of steel. Jet engines operate at temperatures above 1000 degrees C. Gas turbine blades, furnace components, nuclear reactor parts, they all face extreme heat. At high temperatures, metals creep, they slowly deform even under stresses well below their room temperature yield strength. This is one of the most critical engineering problems to solve. Tungsten has the highest melting point of all metals at 3422 degrees Celsius, making it essential in high temperature alloys. Molybdenum is next, it forms carbides that pin grain boundaries and prevent creep. Cobalt maintains strength at extreme temperatures. Niobium and vanadium form fine carbide and nitride precipitates, precipitation hardening, that resist high temperature deformation. Rhenium, one of the rarest and most expensive elements, is added to single crystal superalloys in jet engines for ultimate creep resistance. Not everything is about extreme performance, sometimes you need a metal that's easy to cut, drill, or weld. Machinability is the ease with which a metal can be cut using machine tools. Sulfur and lead, despite being problematic in other ways, improve machinability by forming inclusions that act as chip breakers, reducing tool wear. This is why free cutting steels contain controlled amounts of sulfur, 0.1-0.35%. For weldability, the ability to be joined by welding without cracking, carbon equivalent is the key formula. The higher the carbon equivalent, the worse the weldability. Carbon is the biggest enemy of weldability. High carbon steels form brittle martensite in the heat-affected zone. Silicon, manganese, chromium, and molybdenum all reduce weldability to varying degrees. This is why structural steels are kept low carbon, and why welding procedures specify preheating for alloy steels. Let's put everything together with some of the world's most important alloy systems and see exactly which elements do what. Stainless steel chromium provides the passive layer. Nickel stabilizes austenite and improves ductility and corrosion resistance. Molybdenum, in 316 grade, prevents pitting in chloride environments. Applications: surgical instruments, food processing equipment, marine hardware, kitchen appliances. Aluminum alloys: aluminum jor copper jor magnesium jor zinc jor silicon, 7075 aluminum alloy. Aluminum jor 5.6% zinc jor 2.5% magnesium jor 1.6% copper. The zinc-magnesium combination forms magnesium-zinc, MgZn, precipitates through the age hardening process, which significantly increases the strength of the alloy. This strengthening mechanism allows the alloy to achieve strength comparable to structural steel while maintaining only about one-third of the weight. Typical applications: aircraft structures such as fuselages, wings, and other high-strength aerospace components where a high strength-to-weight ratio is critical. Titanium alloys, titanium जोड़ aluminum जोड़ vanadium, titanium 6% aluminum -4% vanadium alloy, titanium जोड़ 6% aluminum जोड़ 4% vanadium. In this alloy, aluminum acts as an alpha phase stabilizer, maintaining the hexagonal close-packed crystal structure of titanium. Vanadium acts as a beta phase stabilizer, promoting the body-centered cubic crystal structure. The combination of these two phases produces a balanced microstructure that provides high strength, excellent toughness, and superior fatigue resistance. As a result, this alloy offers an exceptional strength-to-weight ratio, outstanding corrosion resistance, and excellent biocompatibility. Typical applications, widely used in hip and knee implants, aircraft. Superalloys, nickel जोड़ chromium जोड़ cobalt जोड़ molybdenum जोड़ aluminum जोड़ titanium जोड़ rhenium. Examples of high-performance superalloys include Inconel 718, wasp alloy, and Rene 88. These advanced alloys are widely used in jet engines and gas turbines, where materials must withstand extreme temperatures, stress, and oxidation. The nickel-based matrix provides excellent ductility and structural stability at very high temperatures. Strength at elevated temperatures is achieved through the formation of gamma prime precipitates, nickel aluminum, which significantly improve the alloy's resistance to deformation during service. Chromium in the alloy improves oxidation and corrosion resistance, helping the material survive in hot, oxygen-rich environments such as combustion chambers. Rhenium further enhances creep resistance, allowing the alloy to maintain its strength and shape even when exposed to high stress for long periods at elevated temperatures. Typical applications: jet engine turbine blades, combustion chambers, aerospace components, and high-temperature industrial gas turbines where materials must perform reliably under extreme heat and mechanical load. Beyond solid solution effects, some alloying elements work by controlling the microstructure itself, specifically grain size. Grain boundaries block dislocation movement, so more grain boundaries, smaller grains, equals higher strength and better toughness. This is described by the Hall-Petch relationship. Yield strength increases as grain size decreases. Niobium and vanadium are master grain refiners. They form fine carbides and nitrides during rolling that pin grain boundaries and prevent grain growth. This is the secret behind HSLA, high-strength low-alloy steels used in pipelines and bridges, achieving very high strength without adding large amounts of expensive alloying elements. Titanium also refines grains in steel through titanium nitride precipitate formation. Zirconium and boron refine grains in aluminum and magnesium alloys respectively. Let's understand some of the most important alloying elements used in steel and engineering alloys, along with their primary effects on material properties. Carbon increases the strength and hardness of steel, but it also reduces ductility. It is the most important element responsible for forming martensite during heat treatment. Chromium improves corrosion resistance by forming a passive oxide layer. It also increases hardenability and wear resistance and forms hard chromium carbides. Nickel improves toughness, especially at low temperatures. It stabilizes the austenitic structure and also enhances corrosion resistance. Manganese increases strength and hardness. It acts as a deoxidizer during steel making and helps counteract the harmful effects of sulfur. Molybdenum improves high-temperature strength and creep resistance. It also increases hardenability and resistance to pitting corrosion. Silicon primarily acts as a deoxidizer in steel production. It increases strength in ferritic steels and improves oxidation resistance, which is why it is commonly used in spring steels. Vanadium is a powerful grain refiner. It forms stable carbides that increase strength, toughness, and wear resistance, especially in high-strength low-alloy steels. Niobium also acts as a strong grain refiner and forms carbides and nitrides. It is commonly used in pipeline steels and high-strength structural steels. Tungsten has a very high melting point and provides excellent hardness at high temperatures. It is widely used in tool steels and high-temperature alloys. Cobalt improves high-temperature strength and is often used in superalloys and magnetic materials such as alnico magnets. Titanium refines grain structure and forms stable oxides and carbides. It provides a high strength-to-weight ratio and is also known for its biocompatibility. Boron. Even very small additions of boron, around 0.001 to 0.003%, can significantly improve hardenability by strengthening grain boundaries. Copper. Copper improves corrosion resistance in weathering steels and is also used in age-hardening aluminum alloys. It also provides good electrical conductivity. Aluminum. Aluminum acts as a strong deoxidizer in steel making. It also forms a protective aluminum oxide layer, which improves oxidation resistance. Sulfur. Sulfur improves machinability in free cutting steels, but excessive sulfur can reduce ductility and toughness.